Two Queers in a Truck. And I'm Billy James Gunn, and my sidekick, Christian Cano, partner in crime, is coming up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim's sidekick. Welcome to Two Queers in a Truck. Hi y'all.
See you soon.
Truck time. And guess what, kids? It is September time. It is, it's the point in the, it is going to be fall. Not quite. We're still in summer, technically. We just got past Labor Day, but technically we're still in summer until about the third week of September.
Yeah.
But we're in Virgo season. We're in birthday
Foosball season.
Actually, foosball season. We're in, back to school for both. I think every child from kindergarten to high school has gone back to school at this point.
Hey, it's your birthday around the corner?
My birthday.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm a Virgo. My wife is a Virgo. We just celebrated her birthday in glorious Hollywood, and this is I air Americo Gunn. Gersemi Americo Gunn, also my wife's name. It live from Hollywood, West Hollywood to be exact, and my partner in crime, Christian Cano, broadcasting from All Points, North Carolina, and East Coast, West Coast. In fact, that's what we were talking about off camera, and we'll go ahead and make it the first segment because it was an interesting question that Christian asked me. A lot of people it depends on how long you've been watching these shows that we have, may or may not know that Christian and I have been friends for a long time. We're more like family than friends because we fight like brother and sister. But when I lived in North Carolina, we did social things together.
I miss that.
I know. I do.
I miss that.
I do miss. Some of my friends in North Carolina, like yourself, where we had the social aspect, and you could just hop in the car. We could go down the street and go to something.
Because that's the only reason I'd go.
Truthfully, I was so hands off local politics the last couple years that I lived there for a lot of various personal reasons. The only political things I went to, or social political things that I went to, was because of you. And you'd say, "Are you going to this?" "Well, I'm not sure." "Well,
exactly.
If I come grab you, will you go?" "Sure." "Okay, let's go." But other than that, I was fairly removed. I pretty much quit politics in 2023, other than these shows. And these shows aren't, exclusively, it's as much social commentary as it is political commentary. But, it stirred up a conversation about, Christian asked me off camera, do you miss Charlotte? Do you feel like you are still just visiting, the West Coast and LA specifically? And I said, no, we in fact, my wife and I talk about this a lot, that we have been here just long enough. Not only do we not miss the most of what Charlotte is, but we've noticed a dramatic difference between living on the West Coast and living on the East Coast. And we've got it. We're mostly speaking for the liberal or progressive side of the ledger, because my wife and I are both progressive people. We have noticed how plugged in West Coast people are, and how the East Coast progressives and liberals have all but given up. And especially in North Carolina, where the Democrats have pretty much just surrendered to the Republicans, including Democrats that have sided with Republicans recently this year on major votes in the legislature, and how. But that hasn't been unusual. In 2017, they went with the Republicans and did HB 142, which was almost as bad as the bathroom bill of HB 2. It still gave up on trans people then. North Carolina gave up on trans people a long time ago. And Democrats, rather than fight it out for trans people, set the precedent in North Carolina and give up on us nationally. And we saw this cascade of human rights going away as we demonized, which was something I was going to talk about today, which is demonizing certain groups of people for the comfort of white people. And I said that specifically because if you are a white person and you're listening to the show, understand how in American history we've always sacrificed everybody else, but specifically white men. White men have pushed everybody else on the ledge at one time or another, whether it was white women, whether it was indigenous people, African slaves, former African slaves, descendants from African slaves, Latinos and Hispanics. It don't matter who you are, whether you come from Cuba, Mexico, Puerto Rico, wherever you come from. Just remember two things. They don't consider you part of the collective. Conservative white men, Republicans, Republican Nazis don't consider you part of their group. They will tolerate you, but don't be fooled. You're just another Uncle Tom. You're just lighter skinned. That's it. They still see you as less than.
Exactly.
Just like big old dumb tranny, Caitlyn Jenner. They still see you as a man as a dress, Kate. But you're a willing stooge. You're willing to sell out your actual people, the trans people, the queers, thinking that they're going to see you as a white woman when they see you less than the whole time. In fact, they're laughing behind your back. Which brings me to my first official topic, which is conservative white men will sell out anything they can to hold power. And semi-progressive liberal white men will too. They'll do it just as fast. And then it just trickles down and matriculates from there. And so that's why there's so much cowardice in the Democrat Party, is that if we sell out one groups of our group, we can still hold on to power. And a lot of Germans thought that too. And a lot of Italians thought that. And we saw how that turned out. The fascists and the Nazis in Italy and Germany ran roughshod off people for the better part of a decade, with internment camps, torture camps, death camps, etc., including 6 million Jews. We need breathing room. We need to return this to the fatherland. Make Germany great again. It's so on and so off. Like the nebulous, masked up, cruel soldier Gestapo, because the Gestapo is basically a secret police, which is not any different than ICE, with people all masked up, and it's a secret police. It's a Gestapo. It's an American Gestapo. Is all it is. It's a goon squad. A brute squad, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But not only is it unconstitutional and illegal, but quite frankly, it's a threat to all of us. You don't have to be a Hispanic or a Latinx person to be threatened by this. Why? Because they came after the trans people first. They experimented on our human rights, including the ability to even use the public restroom. We're back to water fountains and restrooms again. and questioning whether we should be able to even be access public, facilities. That was up for debate again. It wasn't undignified enough that we didn't debate this in the 1950s and 60s. I realize separate but equal stupid then, it's stupid now. The debate was neither whether trans women could go to the women's restroom. It was a debate whether we were allowed to be in public amongst regular people. See, you demonize people. All Mexicans are drug dealers and rapists and murderers. That Mexican judge is what Trump said in 2016 when he was deciding, that judge was deciding that case on his Trump University scam. Trump said the president's by his words. And he demonized people of color when he questioned Obama's birth certificate. He put it into the lexicon that a black president can't be legitimate. That black people aren't Americans. Every black person that's descended from a slave that was brought here hundreds of years ago is still not considered an American, according to conservatives. You were brought here as property, and they would just as soon ship you out, or kill you, or incarcerate you. 90% of all prisoners nationwide, of the almost 3 million people that live in incarceration right now, are black. Not brown, not white, black. 90%. Which is insane. Modern slavery, because that's where they've privatized prisons, is they can pay somebody 15 cents an hour. It is modern slavery. Which is going to be my third topic, which is what all of this illegals talk is all about. It has nothing to do with what new arrivals do in this country. It has nothing to do with breaking the law. Republicans couldn't give two shits about breaking the law. Look at their president. But we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in the Truck after these special messages. Hey everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Queers in the Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye, boo. Happy Pride.
Hi, everybody. This is Yorense from the Espera Cash Show over here. All I'm here is doing a little quick PSA. Use this summer to do volunteer work. Go to your nearest YMCA. Go to your nearest homeless shelter. Go to whatever community services or programs that you can help out and volunteer. Because right now, we have a bunch of fascist pieces of shit trying to rip apart our country and rip apart the people, our communities, by spreading hate and bigotry. The best way to combat it is, one, working in your community and standing strong to show that you are strong and you're here to help out others. Two, combat misinformation. If you hear bullshit, first research and make sure if it's true or not. If it is not true, call it out. If it is true, get the facts. Be knowledgeable of it because it might come out later. So always stand against that. And three, fuck fascists. Stand against them. Make them feel uncomfortable. There is too many people out there feeling like they can say the hard R or say slurs or be violent. Make them understand that a lot of people die to make sure this hatred and bigotry does not exist. All our civil rights workers, all the people who restored normity, everybody who fought against intolerance and hatred, they died and worked their asses off to stop this. So follow in their footsteps and stop this madness. This is Yorense again from Espera Que, and all I can say is be there for your community and stand up for what's right. Fuck fascism and have a wonderful day.
And we are back. We don't have a president that follows rule of law, in any way, shape, or form. He threw a coup January 6, 2021, where he broke multiple laws, and so did thousands of other people as they stormed, including, ironically, beating one police officer to death with an American flag, which will be topic 4. But topic 3 is they're going to make money, and they have been making money off this scam. These detention centers, these new concentration camps, they're money making schemes. The reason why they're not in a rush to deporting these people is they're using them as labor. Private detention centers make money several different ways. One, off the labor inside private detention centers. These internment camps are slave camps, nothing more. And they are at the raw baseline. They're even below the standards of private prisons. And private prisons are pretty shitty. They're way worse than state-owned prisons. They're dumps. But these private detention centers are even dumpier than that. They are dumps. They break every international law when you talk about imprisonment in detention centers. There is nothing ethical about it. Human rights and things that got people tried and convicted in Nuremberg trials are happening right now in the United States. This is all about adding to the slave labor force. This is about building internment camps in states and using this labor against private farms. This is the nationalization of the agricultural industry. This is the nationalization and the takeover, the government-led takeover, aka communism and socialism, of major industries. Don't be fooled, because this is what Putin did when he restored Soviet-like leadership in Russia. The nationalization and control of industries, a true oligarchy and fascist-led society. Fascism is not just cruelty, but it's also the governmental control of industry, making them one and the same. That's what the clinical definition of fascism is the socialistic control. I mean, the Nazi Party was the National Socialistic Party. It was a control to restore control of Germany by Germans, even though it was controlled by Germans the whole time. Sound familiar? Make America great again. We need to take back our country. The great replacement theory, on and on and on. They've convinced poor white trash that everybody's the enemy, when everybody is the enemy. It's the 1%, the wealthy elite against everybody else. The 15,000 people that were worth $100 million or more, pretty much against the rest of America, including about 800 billionaires. What they didn't explain is it's 1% against 99%, but there's a high percentage of that 99% that's stupid enough to go along with us. 65 million Republicans and 18 million lazy Democrats that wouldn't vote last year. Where the Republican Party has cucked 18 million Democrats. Had we voted like we did in 2020, or even half of the people that sat home because they were too lazy to vote, they're too lazy to fight for their right to vote, they're too lazy to push against the grain, chose not to vote. Because, hey, it's a less than human person that's running for president. It's a black woman. And we ain't going to fight to the polls for a black woman. White Uncle Joe? Yeah, absolutely. But black Auntie Harris? Absolutely not. She's less than human. She's a slut. She never had any kids of her own. She has no real value. She didn't even have the decency to reproduce and be a good breeder mare. She was demonized from day one, even before she ran for president. They made her less than. She's an idiot. She's a laughing buffoon. On and on and on. I won't even repeat some of the insults that I read from Democrats and Republicans. Nobody took her serious from day one, the moment she got nominated back in 2020. Everybody shat on her and set us up for a failure. Even though she was extremely competent and the Biden administration was extremely competent, we saw nothing but failure. But to be honest, the demonization of certain American segments of our population has been going on in our entire history. Whether it's referring to indigenous people as savages, black people as less than human, with the 3/4 rule or 4/5 rule or whatever the fuck it was. We've never cared about the others because white men told us we shouldn't care, especially wealthy white men. When George Washington was elected, he was elected by less than 1% of the population. Why? Because that's the only ones that could vote. And he got 100% of the vote because there was only white, mid, wealthy landowners that could vote. It's not much different today, because 800 really wealthy people pretty much control what happened last year, controls the media, controls the companies, controls how everything goes. And I go, you know what? You put her in office and we ain't going to be happy. I mean, y'all step and fetch and y'all be good little slaves and morons and you vote against your interests. And let's put this incompetent fat fuck back in the office because he's our puppet. We're going to feed him cheeseburgers and he's going to be fine. And we're going to put a bunch of Putin stooges on his staff, and we're gonna clack around like good little Nazis. And that's exactly what we got. We got a Putin's puppet, bitch ass, fat slob, fucking president that's making money. His family's making money off all this fucking terror. And here's the thing. Don't be fooled. They're making money. The Trump family is making money off this shit. They're making billions off us. Close to $3 billion since they've taken office the second time. They're stacking cash faster than Trump can stack cheeseburgers and ketchup bottles on the wall. And he's going to be grabbing at money as fast as he can before he kicks the bucket. I assure you, whether that's tomorrow or next week or next year, I assure you, he's rolling as fast as he can because he knows his family doesn't stand a chance of holding on to power once he kicks the bucket. This is the thing, the Nazi Republicans are going to turn on them too. Junior, Eric, all of his dummy kids, his dummy son-in-law, they're done too. They're screwed as well. And we'll have J.D. Vance as president, which you talk about a puppet. J.D. Vance is a turtle up on a fence post. You don't know how they got there. You know they didn't get there on their own. And they definitely don't belong. J.D. Vance Ghost wrote one successful book and parlayed it into a political career. But he didn't write that book. Any more than Trump wrote The Art of the Deal. Somebody ghost wrote that too for him. They used some big words that he doesn't know how to spell. Trump's so damn dumb, you can read his tweets. That's why Newsom's done such a good job of trolling him, is Newsom has used his own tactics against Trump. Except it's the liberal progressive version of it. But the same flag waving, just goofiness that is MAGA. And we're up against our second break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in a Truck after these important messages. Hey y'all, thanks for listening to Two Queers in a Truck. And we do broadcast on YouTube and Facebook in a video version, and we're also on all the audio platforms out there. So your favorite way to listen to your podcast. We've been doing this for a couple years, and we appreciate y'all listening. We know you have a ton of choices, even though we may be the best choice. We always appreciate our listeners, and we'll try to bring you quality in the future. Thanks for listening. As always, Christian and Jenny, we're out. Thank y'all. Hey y'all, this is Jenny with Two Queers in a Truck, and Christian's along with me, and we're just having fun, and we're looking forward to the 2025 season, and super excited. We have some neat things going on in our whole family of shows, including Coffee and Pan Dulce, and many new shows that are brewing. Get it, and we are excited for 2025 and all the chicanery and other things that comes with it. So happy New Year, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye y'all.
Bye y'all. Bye boo.
Bye boo. But speaking of Newsom and the other Democrat governors, not only have they trolled the shit out of, so I've given you two sections of shows that's pretty doom and gloom. Here's the good part. Here's the hard candy. Governor Newsom and a lot of other Democrat governors who started coming up with a solution. Back, they're going to use Republicans' own hard-fought tactics against them. And it's about to blow up in Republicans' face in a way that the SCOTUS has already paved the way for this. So this is giving power back to the states. The old saying, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Republicans are about to die on the sword that they used for so long in so many different ways. By giving states independence, what California and many other wealthy blue states can do is that they can silently secede from the Union. Now, not from a legal standpoint where we become our own country, but where we can financially. They've set the case law for us to stop sending our money to the central government. And they've made a pretty good case for us to do it. So much so, we'll be able to successfully do it. Almost all the high wealth states that make more than they take from the federal government, the givers, as they started calling them, the blue states, we're going to withhold our money and we're going to use it locally. We're going to save up money to make sure we have enough money for natural disasters, education, and all the things that are important to our state, because we're smart enough to realize these things are important. People's welfare, well-being, so on and so forth. The taker states, or the red states, the socialistic welfare states, they're on their own. And because the federal government's ended almost all social domestic programs like FEMA, pesky little storm detection programs like NOAA, they're on their own in many reasons. If you look at a hurricane map, it's mostly red states that are in the path of hurricanes. And hurricane season is just about to get bad. September and October is where the doozies are coming. And there's no FEMA money. None. Zero. Zilch in the account. He defunded FEMA. And all he did was hang out to dry all those southern red states along the Gulf Coast and the lower East Coast. Good job, guys. See, we just had fires here in California, but we had the money to fight it because we're a high wealth state. We're just five. We didn't even bat an eye. We put out major fire. We handled our own natural disaster. Mississippi, Texas, Florida, don't have no money. They be broke. They spend more than they take in. And because Uncle Sam has cut them off too, because their grandpapa, Heir Trump, the glorious leader, has decided to end all those welfare bum programs. Y'all are double fucked. It's double jeopardy. Bam, boom, y'all are dead. And here's what's even worse. He's taking all your cheap labor and has nationalized it, meaning only his rich dummy friends are the ones that are going to benefit from it. So all y'all's local mom and pop farms and local business and all that, y'all are fucked here. So unless you're a billionaire business person in Texas or Florida, you ain't benefiting from this cash grab. So guess what, chicken butt? You know, when you align yourself with Elon Musk, you think, oh, because I align myself with a billionaire, they're certainly going to take my hand and pull me up to their platform. Fuck no, they're not. That's how they became billionaires, is they stepped on your back on the way up to the top, dummy. You don't think billionaires become billionaires because they're nice. There's no such thing as a benevolent dictator, and billionaires are benevolent dictators. I don't care what they do towards the end of their life, like Warren Buffett or Bill Gates or any of those guys. They fucking crush souls for decades. They fucked as many people over as they can. That's how you become a billionaire. You don't become a billionaire because you fucking opened up a bunch of soup kitchens your whole fucking career. There is no Mother Teresa or innocent people when you're worth $100 million or more. You kicked a lot of people's faces in along the way. You exploited a lot of labor along the way. That's how you accumulate and hoard that much wealth. It's impossible in a normal course of a lifetime in a career to hoard that much wealth unless you hurt a lot of people. Period. End of story. If you're worth $1 billion, which is a one with 9 zeros behind it, you've hurt a lot of people. Most people can't make that amount of money at $15 an hour unless you work 75,000 years. So us that have only had a 30 or 40-year career will never even sniff that kind of money. Even if you make 6 figures a year, it's a hell of a lot. You would have to live thousands of years to get anywhere close to what Bill Gates, that's given away 60 or 70 billion dollars or $100 billion. He's still one of the wealthiest people in the world. He's still one of the wealthiest people in the world, Bill Gates is. But I think he's given away $115 billion. He's still wealthy. Why? Because you can't spend $1 billion, much less hundreds of billions of dollars. The kind of money these super wealthy people have, you can't even spend $1 billion. If you're worth $1 billion or more, you're set for life. And so are many of your heirs. But they've accumulated this on the backs of the poor, their employees, the Walmart family, the Waltons. Look what they've done. Walmart wages are still criminally low, and they're supplemented by socialism, which is going to come to roost because I don't know what Walmart employees are going to do for benefits now that most of their benefits are going to be cut by rich Uncle Sam. But Walmart, the Walmart family, they're mainly responsible for the re-election of Trump. People like that. Those kind of families have donated heavily to people like Trump and Republicans. Look at Arkansas. It's been under Republican rule for the most part for 30 plus years. Texas, same way. It's been under Republican rule for 30 plus years. Since 1995, basically. We're talking 30 plus years now. And Texas is horrible. Every year, it's $70 billion in the hole, bailed out by the federal government, which that's over. Look at the floods that happened this last summer. And nobody got any warning. Why? All the systems that would have warned those people were defunded. The rescue crews defunded. Those people were on their own. They realized these people that primarily voted for Trump, and for the idiots that have run that state for 30 years, which is Nazi Republicans, now are realizing they voted against their own entrance. The cock of consequence landed on their foreheads this last summer. And you know what? These chuckle fucks next year will probably still vote for Republicans because Texans are dumb. I'm sorry. It's my birth state, and I grew up there, but it ain't my home state anymore. Let me tell you, fellow Texans, as somebody that was a multi-generation Texan, you guys are stupid. The gutless registered Democrats that outnumber the Republicans 2-1 that don't vote, y'all are lazy. And everybody else that's voting Republican in that state is stupid. Hot Wheels Abbott don't give 2 fucks about you. He's obsessed with trans people. And so is this idiot AG that sues everybody. He ought to sue himself for being that stupid. Moral crusade my ass. His wife just left him for cheating on her. Isn't that one of the 10 Commandments? Anyway, we're up against the end of the show. It's been a lovely time here on this first Wednesday of September 3rd, 2025. And we're going to mosey on down the road and enjoy the rest of the month. And we'll see you next week with some more Two Queers in the Truck. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Bye, boo.
Bye, boo. Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching Two Queers in the Truck. And as always, we're past Labor Day. We're in the home stretch. I would point to some elections, but there isn't really any national elections. I think there's some local stuff going on there, including in North Carolina. But anyway, y'all be safe out there, and if you can vote on something, make sure you vote Democrats this time. My gosh. But other than that, just enjoy y'all's week, and happy September. We're in Virgo season. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Bye, boo.
Bye.